What's up, everybody? All right, we are going to get some good information that I think um, you can walk away with, knowing that you feel empowered. Especially because when we go to the doctor, when we get lab work, that's what I'll be talking about today. We don't always know what we should do with the results, and guess what? Your doctors don't know what to do half the time either. And let me just start off by saying I love doctors. They are amazing human beings. But unfortunately, I'm going to be honest and say there are just some very bad doctors out there that do not know what they're doing. And hey guys, hey Tiffany, how's it going? So I want to, yeah, I want to be able to talk about that today. And let me see if could not get my, let me see if I can get my comments up so I can look through them. Give me 1 second, y'all. Sometime I can find me live and sometime I can't. All right, let me. All right, yeah. So I won't do any comments because I can't really see my can't really see my Instagram page. But listen, we're gonna talk about some amazing stuff real quick, and I want to empower you. I want to make sure that you understand what it is that you're doing and what you're seeing when you see your lab work, especially cholesterol. And the reason why I'm targeting this is because I have not seen any lab work that is more where there's a lot of error, I would say, with what doctors inform you with from the lab work more than cholesterol. I mean, I've seen some horror stories when it comes to cholesterol. So anyway, I can't see all of you all's comments at the moment, but I will go back and look at them and make sure that I'm answering your questions, whether it's through a training, a live training, or a video in some kind of way. So be patient with me. I tried to go back on even with Instagram to see, but I just can't right now. So have grace with me. I don't want to stop the Instagram. I could stop it and start it back, but I didn't want to do that either. All right. So listen, first, let me say this. And again, you need to know this information because it is very important for you. This video is not meant to diagnose, to treat, or to prescribe anything. Listen, I'm just sharing what I've learned over the years, over the 20 years of studying health, healing, and walking people through transformation. So I want to share that. But I want you to listen closely because there is a lot of misinformation out there about cholesterol. And if you've been told, for example, your LDL is high and you're at risk, then I need you to know, first of all, it is not the full story. Calm down if you do have high LDLs, LDL numbers, LDL number, I'll say. In fact, that number on its own can be dangerously, I would say, misleading. Okay. And I know that for sure. And I have a lot of people who come to me with problems with their LDL numbers being high. So why, I want to answer this question. Why cholesterol numbers alone, why can't they be trusted? I say cannot. Why can't they be trusted? Okay, let me just share this. First of all, your LDL number doesn't exist in a vacuum. And I'll talk about cholesterol because when we're thinking about cholesterol, we're looking at triglycerides, LDL, HDL. Okay, we're looking at these different numbers, right? Here's what you need to know. Two people can have the same LDL number. Let's say it's 150, right? And one is at high risk for maybe heart disease while the other isn't. Okay. Let's say 200. Let's just say 200. All right. So we can know for sure because the doctors will definitely tell you 200 is high. Let's say 250, doesn't matter. But one could be at risk for heart disease and the other not with the same number, right? Okay. Why? Why is that? Why can somebody have the same exact number and one be at risk and one not? Well, because it's not just about the number. It is literally about the pattern. There's a pattern that happens when you have high cholesterol levels. Okay. There's a pattern. And if you're, let's say, for example, I'm going to help you to understand what that pattern looks like. If your triglycerides are low and your HDL is high, then your LDL is likely large, and it's the light and floaty, not the dense, sticky kind that causes buildup. And that's less dangerous. So, but if your triglycerides, for example, are high, so you got high triglycerides, then you got low HDL numbers, then your LDL is likely small, it's likely dense and sticky. And that's the kind that builds up in the arteries. Okay, so there's a difference, right? So one pattern shows that this is actually a good pattern, the other one shows a bad pattern. Now, the problem with that is that a lot of doctors are not looking at patterns. Okay. They're not looking at patterns. They're just looking at total LDL and they're prescribing statins. No questions asked. So like, that's not a good, that's, you know, it's very sad to me, with everything that goes on in health, that we can look at one number on somebody and discard this person in front of us, their story, their history, their background, the context to what's happening with them, and just say, hey, if it's this number, here's the medicine, we'll send you on your way. You're not taking into account what's going on with that person, right? There's a lot of reasons too why cholesterol can increase. And remember, cholesterol, and I won't go into this too much, it's not bad. Cholesterol is there to help heal the site of inflammation. And when there's too much inflammation, obviously there'll be, higher levels of cholesterol, and that becomes the problem, which is inflammation and not necessarily cholesterol. But that's on a different day. We got to understand what the root problems are. Now, here's why you can't even trust lab numbers blindly. So let's take a step back. Even if you get full labs, what most people don't know is that labs don't interpret context. That's just what I said. The context in which, like, for example, am I taking a test at a lab where people are sick? If a lot of people who come to this lab, if you go to a lab where most cancer patients come to this lab to take their test, then your numbers, your high and lows, you're going to have numbers that may say abnormal when they really not. So you got to pay attention to little nuances like that also. Your numbers mean different things depending on your body's story, right? So I just want to calm you down for a minute. If you are feeling good and you don't have a lot of inflammation and your A1C levels are great and you may have higher LDL, maybe you went on a ketogenic diet and things like that. I'm not saying that there aren't ways to bring down LDL in a natural, great way, just to make you feel at ease. But I am saying that doctors will make you feel like you're about to drop dead tomorrow because you got a high LDL. They'll make it seem like you're about to drop dead. You can have low triglycerides, high HDL, low A1C. They will make it seem like you're about to drop dead. I know there are, and they're still trying to study this. There are some people who are very lean, very healthy, low inflammation, amazing CAC tests. Let's see, low A1C numbers. I mean, just a good amount of body muscle mass, and they have high LDL numbers. And they're still trying to figure that out. There's a guy who actually did a test on himself. He had LDL numbers that were outrageous. I want to say they were over like 700, right? That's crazy. But in good health, no inflammation, low A1C, low triglycerides, high HDL, great amount of muscle mass. I mean, healthy, but high LDL. And what he found out, honestly, long story short, is that his body just needed a little bit more glucose in it, him particularly. So everybody is different, right? So he did do a test and got on statin drugs, but he realized that a little bit of sugar, glucose, brought his numbers down a lot more than the statin drugs. Okay. So let's just understand, doctors are not always trained to read beyond the reference range. Okay. They don't check for patterns, ratios, or even metabolic context. Okay, so people are being diagnosed and medicated, mistreated based on incomplete understanding. This is what doctors often have, is incomplete understanding. And this is also why sometimes when you ask doctors for extra tests, they don't want to give it to you. Why? Because they don't understand it. They don't know how to read it. And so they don't want more on their plate. And it can be kind of embarrassing for a doctor to really not know how to read your lab work. Right? It could be kind of embarrassing, and they want to come across like they got it all together and they're smart, but some of them are just not. As a matter of fact, some of them are unhealthy themselves. You can just look at them and tell, right? You can say, see if they're severely overweight. I went to a doctor's office, and this is nothing against doctors in a sense. I'm not shaming them at all, but I did go to a doctor one time who was like almost 400 pounds. And, you're not going to feel comfortable. Let's just be honest. You're not going to feel comfortable having a doctor who's almost 400 pounds try to help you out. I'm sorry, because whatever you are telling me is just not working for you. And that's kind of discouraging. And you ain't got to be like skinny or nothing. I don't believe that people have to be skinny. I think that a lack of muscle is worse than too much fat often. Okay. So this is not about, it is, body composition matters, but no, I mean, it's just discouraging. It's just like, kind of like, you about look like you about to have a heart attack. You know what I mean? So it can just that's kind of hard. And I'm just gonna be honest and just say what most people won't say. But it's the truth, right? You ain't got to be perfect, but my goodness, you can't come up in here looking like that, And so and if that be the case, then continue to practice, but you got to figure something else out, because you got to know that if it's not working for you, it's not going to work for your clients and your patients, right? And so you need to be on that on a journey. You need to maybe go seek help from someone else, and then maybe you can learn what you didn't know that starts to work, and then you can apply that, and now you got a story to tell as a doctor. How, man, I was going in the wrong direction. Come on, use it for your future. Use it for the good of what you can do that can help people. But be honest and let's get real. That's what I want doctors to do, and know, hey, I don't have all the answers because it's not working for me. So I just wish there was transparency in that. Now, here's really the only solution a lot of doctors have: statins, which is medication, or eat less, move more kind of advice, low fat dieting. Okay. And here's what they don't tell you: statins, number one, if somebody's on it and they need to be on it short term, cool. But there is studies that show that statins increase insulin resistance. Okay. And that's not good, because insulin resistance is the real reason why a lot of people have cardiovascular disease. And by the way, I want to say cardiovascular disease is one of the number one reasons why there's such a high death rate. It's one of the number one reasons why people die. So we want to make sure that we have a healthy heart, right? That's why I talk a lot about stress and getting that under control. So all things heart related, we need to get our hearts as good as possible, right? And there's a lot of things that you can test I'll get into that in a minute. But statin drugs, they can increase insulin resistance, and that's going in the opposite direction. We don't want insulin resistance. We want insulin sensitivity. It can also trigger memory issues and, short-term memory issues. And of course, if it's increasing insulin resistance, it's going to increase type 2 diabetes, right? And then they have a newer class of cholesterol drugs, PCSK9 inhibitors, which have been linked to higher death rates. They did a study and found out that the ones it was a blind study, so we don't know who's getting what, right? And then those who had the inhibitors, they died more. Now, come on, we got to look at that. And they died from like infection and cancer. So we can't ignore that. Like when you're looking at studies, you can't ignore studies that refute what you're saying as a doctor. I mean, you can for so long, but then you got to really look at this and kind of be a little open to, well, why is that? Is there something going on? And then the majority of patients, they just never hear the risk to benefit ratio of medicine, right? So I think it's like 1 in 80 might be helped, but then that's with all 80 being medicated with all the side effects that come with it, right? And then even worse, you get them on low fat diets, and sometimes that can lead to like fatigue, depression, hormone imbalance for a lot of people. And fat is not the enemy. Again, inflammation is, okay? So what are some things that you can do? Some markers and some better testing. The thing is, if you are really, really concerned about your heart, first of all, you got to get imaging. If you're really concerned, don't just chase the numbers, get real clarity. Consider a CAC scan. So that's a coronary artery calcium scan. And some people say CAC, but a CAC scan. And you can get that actually as little as $5 in some places. And I don't think you need your doctor's referral for that kind of scan. A CAC angiogram, you do, and that's a deeper imaging. That's really, I would start with just a regular CAC scan, but the CAC angiogram goes deeper, but that can be more expensive. I want to say it could cost up to $2,000. And then you're getting more exposure to radiation. Now the CAC scan, it doesn't give you as much radiation, so it's a lot safer. But the angiogram scan is, yeah, more expensive, and you definitely need a doctor's order. Now, it's just as simple. I want you to watch out for, here's the numbers that matter: triglycerides, HDL, A1C, fasting insulin. Get your fasted insulin. Those numbers together will probably give you a clearer story than LDL will ever give you on its own. Triglycerides, HDL, A1C, fasting insulin, right? Again, if you have low triglycerides, high HDL, low A1C, no diabetes, no inflammation, fasted insulin is good. Fasted blood sugar is good. You feel good. You're full of energy. You can sleep well. Then you have a slightly high LDL, and the doctor say, "Well, you about to drop dead. Get on some, statin drugs or something." I would consider a conversation, okay, with your doctor. Just consider a little bit of a conversation. See if they'll go into some more investigation. Maybe take some scans or something. If you just, but you just want to. I don't think you should accept just a doctor telling you to get on medication when every other marker is great and you feel great. And I just think there should be more conversation, right? Now, I just wanted to point that out. I wanted to just bring some awareness to you because this is going on a lot. And a lot of people, honestly, are on medication that don't need to be. How crazy is that? Why? Why do doctors want to push these drugs without even paying attention to anything else? Like, oh, LDL is over this amount. Here's some drugs. Why? You answer that. Why do they want you on medication? Why, when you come back to them and say, hey, well, this is better, my blood pressure is lower, actually my blood pressure getting too low, you think I should scale back? Well, no, let's just keep you on for another 3 to 6 months and see how that. Then you come back another 3 to 6 months. Man, I'm kind of getting low blood pressure. At this point, you think I should come off? Well, we just want to make sure, because maybe when you come off, it might go back up, and then that might get you. It's like some doctors don't want you to come off medicine, and you need to make sure that you're watching for those signs, because a doctor who really cares about you and really cares about your progression and your transformation, and they are there to serve you at the best, in the best way that they can. They're going to look at that and say, wow, I'm so excited that what are you doing? Okay, great. Yeah, let's start to scale back, because you might not need this anymore. Instead, if they're just trying to push you out the door with the medication to keep continuing on, man, you got to find a different doctor, y'all. All right. So I wanted to just kind of share that and bring some attention to you, because this is the case with a lot of different numbers. And again, look at the lab, look at where you're getting your lab work done. There's a story to be said, but the reason why I point out cholesterol is because I just think doctors, I don't know another number that doctors get more wrong with putting people on medication than cholesterol. I just don't. I just think there's so many people on statin drugs and on medicine that should not be. Okay. Now it may be a little different if you do have super high numbers, high triglycerides and all of that. That may be different if you're insulin resistant, you got high A1C levels and things like that. Maybe it's a little different. But if all of that stuff is good and they're not taking that into context, they're not like looking at your lab work saying, well, man, you don't have any diabetes. You don't have much inflammation on these tests. Everything else look good. Your kidneys look good. Your fasted insulin levels look good. HDL numbers good. Like they should be looking at that also. And there should be a conversation about all of it. Okay. So I wanted to just bring awareness to you. That's what I'm here to do, to serve you. I hate that I can't see any of the comments really. I only see a few of them on I see a few of them here on YouTube. Think many people can use second opinions or first opinions with herbalists or similar types of doctors. That's a good question. So someone's asking, hey, should we get a second opinion or should we go to a herbalist? I would say go to a functional doctors because they understand functional medicine. Doctors that prioritize functional medicine, meaning that the body works as a whole. it doesn't work independently of each other. Like the different systems in your body, they work as a whole. And when doctors can understand that, and they can really try to, they're trying to holistically help you. They're trying to help you function properly in all of your different systems. Okay, not just in one system. Like one doctor, okay, we're gonna give you drugs over here. Oh, you got this problem, we're gonna give you drugs for this. Okay, well, here's okay, you got these immune issues, or you got neurological issues, we're gonna give you medicine for that. Like holistic doctors and doctors who understand functional medicine, they understand the body works as a whole. And maybe there's something going on with your with your diet. If you have diabetes, okay, the diabetes may be causing something with the kidney problems. Let's get the diabetes under control, because then we can help to get your kidneys functioning at a better level, or we can help your heart get back to a stronger place. And they combine everything. It's not like, okay, we're just gonna treat this like a symptom, we're gonna treat that, we're gonna treat that. And that's how holistically you begin to get a real plan in place, because it could be one thing that's affecting another thing. And if you just trying to treat that one thing that's being affected on the other end, then you're just aiming at that and not understanding there's a culprit behind this as to why this is now malfunctioning. So functional medicine helps you to get the real picture in place, right? And then yeah, I'm not against herbalists or anything. Just make sure that there's no agenda, because herbalists can be the same as doctors, which is like, I want you to buy all my herbs. Okay, so yeah, this is going wrong, that's what going wrong. Okay, now I want you to buy all this herb, that herb. Next thing you know, you got 30 different herbs that they want you to take. And you like, I'm coming away from medicine not to take all this stuff. Now I got to come and take 30 herbs. Now, granted, I'd rather take herbs than, conventional medicine with side effects. Okay. But just be careful that there's not an agenda. It's the motive that matters. Okay. It's the motive that matters. And it is hard finding the right doctor. But yes, get a second opinion, if you need to, especially if you're getting a surgery. Sorry about that. Especially if you're getting a surgery or something like that. You definitely want to get a second opinion. Okay. So again, I wanted to bring this awareness because I am here to serve you and to educate you. I love it. When I'm able to share information that can help people, and I love to hear the testimony. So, always feel free to share in the comments, share this video. And then also I do want to invite you to go to breakbigbarriers.com. If you want to learn a little bit more about our community. When it comes to health, it's not just about like, okay, your health, your blood sugar numbers, your cholesterol. It's about capacity. Right. So what happens is if your body is inflamed, then your mind is foggy. When you're stuck in these cycles trying to fix your health with these quick fixes, it's hard to make clear decisions just about your life in general. Right. So we want to get you well, because it's not just about your health. It is, but it doesn't stop there. It's about your future. It's about your money. It's about your investments. It's about your purpose. It's about all of these different things. Right. And so what happens is when your body is stable, your mind becomes clear. And when your mind is clear, your decisions change. And when your decisions change, your life multiplies in a good way. Okay. And so if you go to breakbigbarriers.com, I'm going to give you a little bit of information about our 90-day challenge that we're doing. And we're helping you to basically get you out of blindly following broken systems that just don't work. Okay. If you want real clarity, real support, and real transformation, that is what we're about. And we're trying to give you a chance to restore your metabolic health, protect your heart, and take full ownership of your body and your future. Okay. So again, go to breakbigbarriers.com. It is in the description below. Also, if you're not following me on YouTube, go there and subscribe to my page, because I'll be doing live trainings there. I'm also putting videos there, and I'm looking at the comments, and I'm paying attention to what it is that you need. Listen, you deserve more than prescriptions. You deserve more than basic advice that doctors give you. And I know, because I when I go to the doctor, even with my kids, I'm astounded at how little they know about just anything. I mean, it's just crazy. They asking me questions sometimes. And also last, you deserve clarity, a strategy, and alignment. And so go to breakbigbarriers.com and you'll learn a little bit more about it. If you're even the least bit interested, just go there, learn about what we're doing in the community, and then I'll have some information for you. All right. This has been wonderful. As always, I'll be back on. Leave a comment. Give me your story about your cholesterol. Has the doctors tried to put you on medicine because your LDL was high? Have they done something that you feel like you disagree with? I just want to know your story. I'm always interested in what's out there. So just share your story. If they've scared you, if you've got misled by or misinformation from a doctor before, we need to get the word out there and let us know if you have encountered a good doctor, because we also want to know about them too. And hey, my hat's off to them. I pray for them all the time, and I hope that God continues to bless the doctors that are here to serve and to just really help people move in the right direction, because that's far in few, and it's just not enough doctors that are doing that. And so I pray and I bless doctors who are doing it the right way. All right, I'll see you guys next time. It's always a joy that you come on here and listen. And yeah, kudos for you. Pat yourself on the back for investing in your health. Much love to you all. Bye-bye.